This is the Mac Studio, and I honestly think it might be one of the most underrated machines that Apple have ever created. It's small, it's ridiculously powerful, and this device has completely changed the way that I think and use desktop computers. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Dan, and welcome back to yet another tech related video. Today I want to sit and discuss the Mac Studio, and not just what it is, but what it's actually like to use this device day to day. Because on paper it's impressive, but the reality of it is this machine is amazing. So the Mac Studio sits right between the Mac Mini and the MacBook Pro, which, for instance, Apple actually quietly discontinued last week with no major announcement. They just quietly removed it for sale off their website and have since confirmed that there is actually no replacement for the Mac Pro that is currently in development, ready to be released in the near future. The Mac Studio is designed for professionals that want serious performance and don't want a massive tower taking up valuable real estate space on the desktop. This isn't your average desktop. In fact, it's a workstation disguised as a minimalist cube. At first glance, it looks like a taller Mac Mini. And I've got to say, this device is heavy, and that's because it's got quite a large heatsink in it, which gives it the thermal headroom to be able to operate at full power, utilising every single CPU and GPU core within the device at maximum performance for prolonged periods of time. But the reality of using this, though, is that once it's on your desk, you realise how clean and minimal it is. Apple kept it super clean. There's an aluminium body, it's got a compact form factor, and it takes up almost no space on your desktop. It's completely silent, and only once have I managed to get the fans in this thing to actually spool up to any sort of noticeable degree where you can hear them. And that was done with some real heavy 3D animation work that was being done within the Fusion page of DaVinci Resolve on some 8K footage. Now, I was kind of expecting the playback of the footage when I was doing this to be sort of quite choppy and quite laggy and quite unresponsive, but the Mac Studio just seemed to take it in its stride. It's easy to forget that this is even on your desk. It takes up such little space, and because it's so quiet and has got such a small form factor, it sort of makes it even more amazing at how powerful this device is and just exactly what it can accomplish. Like every computer that Apple sells, there's the option to upgrade various components for more sort of high-end computing ones at the point of purchase. Like all of the new Apple silicon, if you don't upgrade it at the point of purchase, it's not something that allows you to upgrade it once it's in your possession. For me though, I went with the base M3 Ultra setup, and I went with the Ultra chip over the M4 Max, just because it gave a greater number of CPU and GPU cores in the base stock configuration. There is the option to add a stupid number of extra CPU and GPU cores at the point of purchase, but even the base M3 Ultra model that I went with is more computing power than what I could ever envisage me needing to use, because the bulk of what I use the Studio for is making or editing the videos that I get posted to this YouTube channel. The biggest thing I noticed about the Mac Studio is the consistency. There's no lag, there's no stuttering, there's no waiting around. Everything just works every time, all the time, and it works instantly. Because it's a desktop, despite its small form factor, it manages to sustain this performance all the time in a way that laptops, even quite powerful laptops like the M4 Max MacBook Pro just can't sustain. Even when the MacBook Pro is working in high performance mode, when it's connected to the power adapter, the Mac Studio renders footage literally minutes quicker than what the MacBook Pro can achieve. And there's two reasons for that. Obviously, one is the M3 Ultra chip that's in this thing, but you've also got the extra thermal headroom that a desktop device can offer, as opposed to something a bit more compact like a MacBook. This is where the Mac Studio really stands out. It's not just about speed, it's about removing friction from your workflow. It allows me to edit all of my footage in the resolution that it was filmed in, so there's no requirement to sort of make proxy media that is a lower resolution than what it was filmed in. All of the editing is done in the same resolution that the native footage was captured in, which first and foremost just makes the overall editing experience that bit nicer, and it's just another thing that sort of really makes me appreciate how powerful this device is. When I've done animations and adding extra bits into clips in DaVinci, I used to notice that my M4 MacBook would slow down, would become a little bit more unresponsive, and occasionally when editing higher resolution footage above 6K, that the MacBook Pro would actually start dropping frames, which isn't the end of the world, but it does something to sort of diminish the overall editing experience in having choppy and unresponsive playback. The Mac Studio just seems to take this all in its stride. I've never had it where I've added extra bits into clips that have caused the playback to be laggy or unresponsive, or even to the point where it's dropping frames. It just takes it on and it does it silently with none of the fans spooling up, and it just adds to the niceness, if that's even a word, of the overall user experience. So here's the thing, most people will not push this device to its limits, and the power of this thing becomes even more noticeable when rendering footage in a direct back-to-back test between the Mac Studio and my M4 Max MacBook Pro. I did a little test recently where I rendered the most recent bungalow update video, and I did it side by side on the on the M4 MacBook Pro and on the M3 Ultra, and the M3 Ultra rendered it literally minutes faster than the M4 MacBook Pro, which is great because less time waiting for films to render allows more time to actually get work done and to generally be more productive. Maybe my favourite thing about the MacBook Pro is the abundance of external ports that the device offers. Gone now are the years of travelling with work and having to remember extra USB-C to USB-A dongles and extra USB-C to SD card adapters. The Mac Studio has got it all. On the front, there's two Thunderbolt ports and there's a full-sized SD card slot, which is literally a game changer, particularly when I'm using GoPros. I've got a micro SD to SD card adapter that just sits in the front of the Mac Studio all the time and saves having to bring loads of unnecessary extras. On the back, there's two USB-A ports, there's a headphone jack, there's an Ethernet port, and there's four more Thunderbolt ports. So I've not encountered a situation yet where I've run out of ports on this thing, and it just, again, it's that little bit extra that adds to the overall niceness, again, if that's even a word, of the overall user experience for this, because it is literally a case of I take an SSD out of my little carry case, I plug it straight in. There's no need to be hunting around thinking, oh, have I bought this adapter, have I remembered this? It just adds to the smoothness of the overall workflow. And for me, Apple have done really, really good with this. It saved my relationship with Apple computers and is something that I'm very thankful for. I'll be honest, this device isn't for everybody. If you're just doing general browsing, general streaming, or a light bit of Microsoft Office work, then this Mac Studio is going to be massively overkill for you. You won't be using it to its full potential, and ultimately it'll end up being a waste of money. You'd be better off getting something like a Mac Mini or even the newly released MacBook Neo, which would be much more suited to sort of general internet and general computer usage. If, on the other hand, you edit footage regularly, you compile complex code, or you do animations or run software that is generally computationally very heavy, then the Mac Studio is right up your street. That's where this device starts to make more sense. So the Mac Studio isn't flashy, it isn't for everybody, and it doesn't try to be. But what it does exceptionally well. It's reliable, it's powerful, and it just quietly gets on with the job and gets the job done. And honestly, what more can you want from a machine like this? So in the final section of this video, let's break the Mac Studio down into a simple list. Pros versus cons. Pros, it's got incredible performance, loads of expandability in the terms of various different ports. It's compact, it's quiet, and buying one of these, you pretty much future-proof your computing power for years to come. On the negative side, it's expensive, it's pretty much overkill for casual users, and the big bugbear for me, as with all new Apple computing tech, is that there's no aftermarket upgrades available for this device. The device you buy from Apple is the device that you are forced to keep, because everything's soldered to the board, and going in and trying to do aftermarket repairs is just something that's not possible. So think carefully when you buy this device or any other Apple device like this, because you've got to bear in mind that your needs in 6, 12 or 18 months time might be different to the needs that you've got now. So my advice would be to buy the best spec machine that you can reasonably afford, because you future-proof yourself in having the computational headroom for more demanding tasks, but you're not in a position where you're wasting money on a device that's got computing power that is never going to get used. So that's it from me today, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video discussing the Mac Studio. If you have, let me know in the comments, are you going to be getting a Mac Studio? Or also let me know, if you are a Mac Studio user, let me know your thoughts on the pros and cons that you consider to be relevant for this device. Make sure you check out all the other tech related videos on the channel, and until next time, see you then.